Example 2. The weight of the first of 3 containers is 12% more than the second, and the third container is 20% lighter than the second. By what percent is the first container heavier than the third container? All right, since both of these, the first and the third container, are in reference to the second, that means our second container is the whole. So I'm going to use N to represent that. So second container, which is our whole. All right, so let's talk about our first container. Up here it says it is 12% more. Now we've talked when we have 12% more, that means more than our whole, which is 100%. So this would be 112% of the second container, which if we simplify this down would be, let's change this to a decimal, and then of means to multiply times N. Okay, let's talk about our second container. In our problem, it says that it is 20% lighter, so that would be less than. So if we start at 100 and we take away 20, it would be 80% of the second container, or N. So we're going to change this to a decimal. Of means to multiply. All right, so when we talk about this, by what percent is the first container heavier than the third? So we're looking at a percent change. So we're going to take the 2%, which this is 112, and then we also have the 80. So we're going to take those two, and we're going to subtract. I'm going to use our decimal equation form down here because I like it better. Well, we get that the difference is 0.32N, or 32% difference. But we want it to know by what percent is the first container heavier than the third. So when we look at this, it says percent is would be like our equal sign. So is the first container, or our part, then the third container, which would be our whole. So we're going to take our part divided by our whole, or difference divided by our part. All right, so 0.32N divided by 0.8N, which when we divide gives us 0.4, or that it is 40% heavier. Let me show you one more way that you could work this. Or we could take this percentage here of what that first container is, and we can divide it, our part, and divide it by our whole, which is a little closer to what we've done in other lessons. When we divide that out, we get 1.4, which would be 140%, but we have to remember to take out the original 100%, or beginning 100%, which would give us the same 40% heavier.